Hello. In advance, I'm sorry about the audio levels, because I'm just pulling a bunch of random YouTube videos, so they're all going to be, like, variably louder and quieter than each other. But, yeah. I always have people tell me I should, whenever I do something like this, like binging a bunch of stuff, that I should talk about them. And usually they're talking about, like, when I've listened to a bunch of albums, but I don't have much to say about those. I'm just like, oh, the album was good. I liked this song a lot. Unless every song is an insane banger, I don't have much to say. Games I have much more of an opinion on. Or much more of a definable opinion on. But, yeah, I'll just go through each of the ones I've done so far. Which, not so far. By the time I have recorded this, I've played more. And by the time I upload this, I will have shown Metroid, which is not in this. But, I currently have 202 games in the list. But there's like 8 games coming out this year, 2025, that is. And in these series, which should bump it up to 210. And if Kingdom Hearts games come out anytime soon, it'll be more than that, but still. 21's about 10% of the total, regardless. And then I'll infuriate everyone by making a tier list as I go along. But, yeah, first, Demon Souls. This game, if you're wondering what the little yellow, weird mustard yellow square is in the corner, I've been internally using a different color to denote each series, and I thought it'd just be fun. This game, I feel like everything FromSoft has made since is better than Demon Souls. Well, I guess I haven't played Armored Core 6 or Deracine, which I might enjoy less. But it's not better. They're not better for, like, super significant reasons. It's just, like, kind of unrefined. It has, like, a terrible early game just because the levels are bad. I don't think it's as bad as Dark Souls 2's or even Bloodborne's. Dark Souls 2's is like Forest of Fallen Giants and No Man's War for total hell, and Heights Tower of Flame is just sort of annoying. And they're both long, is the thing. Bloodborne's, the only reason I think Bloodborne's early game is worse than Demon Souls is because, well, secondarily, technically I can go one of many different ways in Demon Souls compared to Bloodborne. I can go to 1-2 after 1-1, or to any of the other world's first levels. But Bloodborne's early game, I'm defining as, like, all the way up to Bloodstarved Beast because of when you get access to Chalice dungeons. And the real big difference is that in Demon Souls, I don't think I've ever run out of the healing item, unlike in Bloodborne. Which is a difference of how much it they actually heal you, probably more than anything, but I never felt the need to farm in this game. Most of the bosses are, like, okay. and some are like not good. I mean, most of them aren't like, almost none of them are terrible, though, is the thing. Flame Lurker and Man-Eaters are like the most annoying. And Dragon God. Dragon God's the bad one. But they're like not, even Flame Lurker and Man-Eaters are like just fine bosses who are a guy, effectively. Humanoid creature. But Maiden Estrella is peak. That boss fight's incredible. Truly. The storytelling of it is phenomenal. The game's soundtrack is good. I love the goofy brass and the choir stuff. The art direction's amazing. I still, coming out into 3-2 and seeing all the towers with chains between them is still one of the most striking visuals in a game I've played in the last, like, 5 years. World Tendency is, like, a neat thing. It makes replaying the game... It would, if I cared to, make replaying the game really fun. It's just a little too complicated, and a little too interfering with single player. Or what is clearly intended to be like a multiplayer thing. Truly the big knock against this game, though, is the pacing of its upgrades. And how awful it is, because if you want like actually max just strength or dex scaling, you need to farm a 0.2% drop from a difficult enemy that's halfway through a long area. And you need like a bunch of them. It's hell. And honestly, the game would be just sort of, would be pretty good to me if it didn't have such a bad upgrade pacing that I felt justified in cheating stuff in. So Demon Souls gets B for me. And if you're wondering why is it just S, A, and B, and then each of those minus, and then C and D, I think there are games that could easily be in B+, A+, and S+ for me. With everything I've played so far, this is just the most... These gaps are, like, logical to me. Okay. Soulblade. This is one of the ones that's hardest for me to talk about because I played it in 2023. Like a year and a half ago. But and don't worry, I won't have nearly as much to say about any game that isn't Demon Souls for some reason. I'm surprised for a first run at a fighting game idea how good it is. Like it has the soul, haha, of Soul Calibur. It's content rich. I expected the single player to just be arcade mode, but it has like the full weapon master mode and everything, where you unlock different weapons and fight different enemies with different conditions, plot, and all that. Yeah, it's good. Oh. Hold on, I just look up where I put it in the tier list. But yeah, it's... I could have played more of this. I didn't record another episode, that is, because it just would have been more of the same. But the game is very playable. Yeah. It goes still B tier, but below Demon Souls for me. Half-Life. Oh, man. This game still feels very good to play. The enemy variety is great. It's super cinematic in a way that was new at the time. I'll get ready to hear this for 20 minutes. The video is really long. Yeah, it's super cinematic. Everybody moving around as you're moving around instead of it playing a cutscene was new at the time, and it's still an incredible idea. A lot of the encounters, like walking into a particular area and a Vortigaunt bursting through a door, all that stuff, still very memorable. Yeah, it's just really good. If I can be critical of it at all, I guess maybe the Marines are too spongy. It does not feel good to have a big, like, rifle, like automatic rifle, and unload 40 bullets onto a human enemy before they die. I have a feeling this music is very loud. We'll just have to... It'll be fine. I don't really care. This goes straight up in A tier. For sure. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Obviously, it's influential. The aesthetic is iconic and all that. I had fun playing it because it's Tony Hawk. There's just no doubt. I think, if anything, I am simply spoiled by having played the later games. So I'm missing stuff like Revert and all that. Yeah, that's also a B game. Purple Soul Blade. Infamous. The aiming in this game was frustrating. Like, really frustrating the entire time. Which was only barely alleviated in the sequel by having a hit scan lightning bolt eventually. Although, I don't even know if it was exactly. Either way. Absolutely no aim assist. It was... And quite small hitboxes for, like, the head specific stuff. Very frustrating. I think something I wanted to point out was it was funny to me how there would have the comic book cutscenes with major story events, and the pacing of them is so fast, it's hilarious. It'd just be like... It'd just move past... Oh, Trish died, bye-bye. And then he moves on, and then that's... You talk about it a bunch in dialogue in-game afterwards. But there's, like, no gap in the pacing of the cutscene, no pause for breath. The pacing of getting powers and movement abilities, though, is immaculate. It's incredible. It keeps you feeling, like, strong and getting stronger the entire game. Yeah, stuff like static thrusters. The grinding. Very neat. And it's just got good collectibles. The blast shards are fun to get, fun to spot. Dead drops are cool. I think, what did I get this in A? That sounds right to me. Yeah. It's right there, right below Half-Life. I think it makes sense for it to, I think I like Half-Life more than Infamous 1. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Opposing Force. This was one of the more surprising games for me in terms of my opinion on it compared to what I expected. Which is that, you know, it has a lot of neat stuff going on. The new perspective of, like, the antagonists of Half-Life, basically. And, a grappling hook weapon, and just a whole ton of weapons added to the game. But for the most part, it was mostly just slightly worse. The squad stuff was okay as like a puzzle mechanic, but by the end of the game, it was like, here's just 6 Voltigores in a hallway, and have fun. It was just downright annoying by the end, I think. Which is why, I mean, despite all that, it's still like a fine Half-Life game, so I give it an A-, I think. Just because it was actually frustrating to play. Devil May Cry 1. Again, I was very surprised by how good it was for the first game in a series like this. I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be too hard. Not hate it, but I thought it was going to be like way too hard. But instead it's just a really solid Devil May Cry game. All the bones are there, like the combat system, the multiple weapons, the interaction with enemies, the exploration. But it's only spoiled by having played the later games. Like, kind of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's like, it not being able to switch very rapidly between the weapons, only having 2, like, devil arms, and not so many moves between each of them. The only real negatives. All that said, still, I liked it more than Infamous. I was surprised by how much I really liked DMC1. Also, it's missing Dante's slightly less fun in this. But that's, you know, they didn't know that people wanted wacky woohoo yet. Castlevania 1. The art design is good, the music is good, it's Castlevania. Otherwise, it's kind of truly hell to play. The levels are, you know, frustrating and annoying and whatever, but the bosses are preposterously difficult in this game. It feels like they're not built to be fought with a fixed jump arc and a whip that only goes forward, you know? And this is where I'd like to clarify. These, what I'm thinking about them, this is based not on what I think, oh, this game is a B tier game. Generally, this is based on, like, my experience with it was B tier. Really. This will be relevant, especially later. But even with quick saving, basically, through the Anniversary Collection, this was a D for me. I just did not, I mean, I didn't even beat it. I did not really enjoy it. However, Slay the Spire. This is, you know, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Endlessly replayable. The different characters feel really distinct. Like, there's 4 playable characters, but they each have like 4 or 5 distinct builds you can do. You can try to force or mix and match parts of, and with the different events and enemies and the bosses, it's goated. It's one of the best. And that's not even to get it. I probably have like 30 hours on a couple specific modded characters. Like it's very good. What number is it again on my list? Hold on. Number 26. I talk it up that much, and then I'm like, yeah, it is number 26 on my favorite games of all time. Which, to be clear, I have a list of games which I call my favorites, and it is number 26 on that list. And that is not to say that these are what I think are the 43 best games. The very bottom of this list, there are going to be games that I play that I think are better than Jedi Academy. Basically, is what I'm saying. For sure. But yeah, I don't remember if I'm already on the tier list. It's an S tier game, for sure. There is the possibility for S+ for me, and I think I know where the line is for that. Slay the Spire is not over that line. I love this game, but it's just, it is extremely good. Suffice it to say. X-Men Legends. This game uses like obscure-ish characters and references and stuff so well. I loved seeing I pogged about Marrow. I loved seeing Marrow. There was a particular, using like Shadow King as a major villain of the story, for example. That's so crazy. The build variety is great, I can tell, because Jean Grey, I don't think would ever be intended to be a melee attacker, but that's what I had her built as, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot you can do, especially with items, with gear and whatever. I think it's maybe a little too tedious sometimes. That's just true of this whole series, of being a bit of a slog to play through. Slightly. Mostly fun enough. I'll have to do this differently next time. I'm going back like 3 menus and then forward 3 menus in my notes app to look up where I put these. This game, I still think it's, all that said about tedious, yeah, it's great. It's A tier. For sure. Infamous 2. This is number 33 on my favorite games of all time list. It's like Infamous 1, but if all of the parts that were good were better. You start with a good movement, like the grinding, and I think you start with the thrusters. The combat's better, the movement's better, the collectibles are better. The characters are better, like the villains even. The movement is so good. The improved static thrusters, ice launch, the grappling hook part thing at the end. it feels genuinely like... I mean, yeah, I spent the latter end of my playthrough just running around. I think it's really funny that Cole is more fun in this game, in like a... he's just a little wackier for some reason. Oh, I forgot to write this down, but I do think it... The way, as part of Infamous 1's story pacing thing, the fact that Kessler is a future Cole who's traveled back in time to prepare Cole for the Beast's arrival, which would decimate a bunch of stuff, and only Cole could stop it, but he wasn't prepared, so he needs to prepare him. The fact that that's introduced all in the last, 3 minutes of the ending cutscene is absurd. Hilarious and absurd. Which is why I love that Infamous 2 just, suddenly begins with the Beast shows up, and Cole is not nearly strong enough. And you are strong, all your regular shots are megawatt hammers, but it's kind of thing where you can tell they were made to be 2 games, or as one story, kind of. And yet, despite his failure there, he's cracking wise a lot more. Also, Blast Shard Sense is a genius idea. It made any tedium and discomfort in grabbing all the Blast Shards at the end just take 10 minutes. It's a great idea. Whoever thought of it's a genius. This goes in S-. And I think this is the line, the top of S- for me right now. Because I'll get into that with Bugsnax. Bugsnax is my number 32 game of all time, right above Infamous 2. This game has such a crazy premise of you're on an island doing a almost Pokemon Snap type thing of fulfilling a bunch of conditions to get stuff to appear the right way. Catching animals that are half bug and half food. That alone could have been its own game where you play as a bunch of kids who look like they're from the Obsidian game Grounded. Something like that. But instead, they made all the characters like Muppets. And them and their personalities are the core of the game and the reason it's good. Backed up by the incredible voice acting. Its soundtrack is really good. If I can tangent for a second, I have a bunch of it in this very playlist playing in the background right now. It's a lot of wall of sound type stuff that make it sound very vibrant and powerful at the same time, but for the purposes of being it's an undertone of power underneath the cheeriness of it. I love that this game is easy. There's no way to die. There's barely a way to fail at all. It's just the most relaxing comfort game ever. Which is ironic, because spoilers for Bugsnax, I guess. The whole time you get the vibe of these characters are here to escape their problems, and then you get to the end of their quests. Some of them trust you, some of them don't at all. And once you finish their quests, they've found that you and Bugsnax helping them hasn't solved any of their problems at all. And they're still just as lost as when they came to the island. And that's the end of their individual quests. And you think that, you get that the whole time. You're wow, that's dour. Also, isn't it kind of messed up that they're transforming their bodies like this? That feels kind of scary. But oh well. And then the twist at the end vindicates the off vibes the entire time that we're probably feeling, and chalking it up to just like, oh, the game's funny, I shouldn't care. But then it turns out, no, it's body horror. Absolutely. It's a psychological horror thing. Yeah. And the reason... By the way, this is S-. This is S, I mean. The reason that I know the line between S and S- is right here between Bugsnax and Infamous 2 is because Infamous 2 is one of my favorite games. I love it. When I thought about replaying it, I was like, oh boy, you know, Infamous 2, that'll be pretty fun to replay again. You know, explore, grab some stuff. And when I thought about playing Bugsnax again, I was so excited. Like, I was, felt like rushing through whatever game was before it, just to get to Bugsnax. I wanted to see all the characters again, I wanted to catch all the snacks again, so badly, and I can tell that even though I'm certain of its position in the list, that both of their positions in the list, I was just so much more excited about actually playing the game of Bugsnax and everything above it. Yeah, that's probably the position opinion I have the most opinion about on here. And then The Legend of Zelda. This is where my ranking being about my experience comes into play. Is that I used a map and a light amount of guide for this game and a bunch of the games on this list. Because once they get to old enough where they expect you to bust out your manual and ask your friends and play it for 120 hours to get your money's worth, I don't have the patience. That said, the game's progression is super neat. I love that you can go to like 4 dungeons at the very beginning. The hidden stuff is cool. And for like the whole game, I was decrying it for being too hard until I loved the moment of finding out that a potion fully heals you, no matter how many hearts you have. Completely made me flip on the difficulty of the game. I did not give it the credit where it's due. It absolutely was not as hard as I was making it by just never getting the potion. Because I just assumed it would not heal a lot. Even that said, I think in the end the game is a B- for me. Because the combat's annoying and hard. Wizrobes can eat me. Then we have X-Men Legends 2. This game is a lot more convenient than the first game. It built in more conveniences like the portal system to go back to the hub whenever. It enabling auto-equip gear, like, saved me from tearing my hair out with boredom. It would have taken so long. I love that it still had crazy builds, even possibly crazier than the previous game, because I just pumped up Strike and whatever on Wolverine and got Eviscerate and leveled it up, and my god, did I just chew through every boss for the entire game. Which is hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, I liked it almost exactly as much, just a little more, so for sure. That goes right there. Let's see. Oh yes, Castlevania 2. This is another one where probably the most clear example of my experience, the way that I played it, coloring my opinion of it. I think this game would have been practically impossible without a guide. You know, if you guys had watched me holy water every available ground for the entire game, just combing the place to find a bunch of hints, some of which were deliberately misleading. And the ones which weren't were unclear because I have no idea what the hell they were trying to say. It'd be hell. But instead I read a guide on where to go. And given that, the combat is way easier in this game. Just enemy to enemy. The bosses weren't that bad. The golden dagger absolutely destroyed Dracula. And yeah, because of that, for me, Castlevania 2 ends up in like B-, which is hilarious, I think. But yeah, I ended up having a lot of fun with it. Oh? Hold on. Let me... That was weird. It paused. What's next? But yeah, I literally came back to my friends like, dude, Castlevania 2 rips. This game kicks ass a little. Speaking of games that kick ass, Super Smash Bros. That's not a joke about it being a fighting game. This game still holds up. It's great. The character choices of like Ness and Captain Falcon are still wild, but thank God they did, because it ended up coloring perceptions of those characters in the West for a really, really long time. But yeah, it's super fun to play. It's got so much depth. The single player is good. Every character is like at least like minimum neat. It's hard for me to describe what makes it good to me, I guess. But it's good. Good enough if I stick it right there, above Infamous. I think that's fair. Fallout 1. And if you're wondering, isn't that the same? If you have been paying attention to the colored squares for whatever reason, you're thinking, isn't that the same as Infamous? No. It's slightly darker. They're both from something. But it's so funny, I struggled to find anything to say about Fallout. I like the plot. I think the master is cool. The sending you out to the wastes and then fulfilling that quest only to have it be not the end of the game and then they kick you out, all that. It's great. Wasn't super fun to play. Kinda. Following a guide made it much more enjoyable because I would have had no idea what to do. But in the end, I think I still probably liked it more than Soul Blade. I might change that in the future, actually. But I feel confident on it right now, I think. That just from the vibes and everything, I liked it more than Soul Blade is, like, fine. You know what I mean? Fallout 2. This game is like if Fallout 1 were good, not just because it's twice as long, and not due to the change in tone. That's whatever to me. It's because it's way more convenient. You can push people out of the way. The car seems fake. With how much it lets you go faster in the overworld. The combat control menu for your companions. And it's way more convenient unintentionally because of being able to run to Navarro at the beginning of the game and grab power armor. Made the game way easier. Which I loved. The game would have been impossible for me without a guide, I think, just because there's so much, like, oh, he picked up this item earlier. Kind of stuff. You know? But I think it just goes right above Fallout 1, for sure. Castlevania 3. I think this game is basically just as annoying as Castlevania 1. But the bosses aren't as bad. Nearly. The 4 characters thing and the alt pass are, like, cool. You know, that's pretty neat as an addition. But still really annoying to play. So I think that it's a nice C tier game. Castlevania 4, however, it's the kind of stuff that makes the games fun for me. It loses the soul of Castlevania by letting you control your jump arc and the 8-way whip and everything, but that made the game playable. It made it way more enjoyable, even at the same kind of level design. Plus, the grappling hook swingy thing is just neat. And the bosses were cool. I think it straight up gets it a solidly B-. Above Zelda 1, even. I like it more than that game, I think. But that's with quick saving, to be clear. Just like Zelda was with rewinding. Oh. Weird. The town inside me was, like, muted. Oh, wait. The town inside me. That's from Spotify. Oh, well. I guess the music stopped. I'm near the end anyway. I just didn't blink at it because it's from a game. Unreal. Technically Unreal Gold, specifically. Unreal Gold. There we go. I paused to go to the bathroom. But also, yeah, YouTube did the friggin' "Are you still watching?" thing. No, I'm just playing a playlist for no reason. Anyway, this game was great. The soundtrack went crazy. I loved the blend of aesthetics of, like, Indiana Jones crap and space stuff and the canyons. Yeah, the guns were good. The level design was neat a lot of the time. That moment where early on you go back through a corridor and the lights start shutting out as it locks you in and the music, like, explodes as the first, like, Scar trooper or assassin or whatever that you meet shows up. My god. That was awesome. I also really thought it was neat how the DLC by Legend Entertainment like did like a first-person narrative mission log thing. It was kind of wild, honestly. Yeah, this game was very fun. I think. This fun. Yeah. There you go. That's it. That's that tier list. It's a funny discrepancy. I love how having one S- and one A- game. But I legitimately think Opposing Force I have enough of a criticism of to justify that. And Infamous 2 will be joined by many others. And there will be an A+. But yeah, I also think there's a big enough gap between Opposing Force and Demon's Souls that there could be a B+ somewhere in there. But these weren't the only games I played. So although this is a list of my of the games I played as part of like my actual series thing, let's talk about the stuff I played as filler. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battles Combo Trials. I didn't play Blaze Blue Cross Tag. I've never touched the training mode. I mean, even the training mode of this game, let alone the versus mode. I don't know what its life bars look like. I've never touched the tag mechanics. Or I do know what the life bars look like, maybe. I don't remember. I just straight up don't remember if the life bars are in the trial mode. I've only done the combo trials. Which are really easy. They're like the third easiest I've done in any fighting game. Fourth. King of Fighters 15. I haven't finished them because they were boring. But they're neat to do. This game's crossover is crazy. Blaze Blue and Under Night as two fighting games that I feel like are a little more niche. You know, that's already wild. With Persona, because Arc System Works made a fighting game. That's crazy. But then randomly with Ruby, of all things. Wild. Oh, there's the Bugsnax music. Now, I don't know... I haven't, like, written down a predefined position for these. A whole little magic trick there. Now they're down here. The thing is, when I really look at these, I think it's telling just how much I enjoy combo trials. Something about getting to appreciate a fighting game character's design, the developer's intent for the design, and some rote checkbox completion plus an execution test. Even if it's legitimately the fact that they're easy is almost a mark against them. That puts it... Oh man, it's hard to say. I think I would actually straight up put it right here above Unreal. Blaze Blue Cross Tags Combo Trials. I don't remember. I do have, just like before, a screenshot in the slideshow of one I made earlier with these, and it's going to be funny if I placed it somewhere different. Placed these somewhere different. In fact, I'm going to be embarrassed. So I'm just going to talk about them and then look at the one at the end. Oopsie. Spoilers. Yeah. Street Fighter 6's combo trials are pretty easy, but they're neat. I like the game enough and its systems enough that I think that they're neat. That one infamous Guile combo is really cool, where I can't believe they did a standing light kick into Sonic Boom in this game, but in its combo trials, that is. But I really had fun researching and then making the graphics for and then executing the other combos I made images for. That was really fun. For sure, I also put this in the A tier, like around Smash Brothers. F-Zero GX. Look, what can I say? The game is peak. It's very good. The character design's incredible. The soundtrack is unimaginable. It's so good. I had it in this playlist until I realized that they're all really loud. It's just so good. I think I actually put this in like S- tier. I'm now not sure if I actually like it more than Half-Life. I might though. Way later on, reevaluating it may go in like A+, but still, it's very good. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. This game is great and terrible. It has really high highs and low lows. If you, in like the late 2010s and early 2020s, fighting game content creators had it used a lot of 2-axis tier lists. So up and down would be top tier to bottom tier. The character is good and you should play them, or bad, you shouldn't, competitively. And left and right were like volatile, a solid. I wonder if this gets this video claimed. That'd be funny. So like, if they're solid, they're just like a really solid character to play with a very rounded kit. A lot of coverage. They could be bad that way, though. And volatile is just like they have some really, really terrible matchups, but could be great. This game would be high tier, but volatile. I like it in sum total quite a bit, but some of its lows are rancid and terrible. And of course Luigi's Mansion. Succinct, great all the way through. Just a wonderful aesthetic, wonderful soundtrack. I liked all the Portrait Ghosts and the Booze in like, 4 hours, 4.5 hours. It's just a good game. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. Oh. See, I put BlazBlue Cross Tag Combo Trials below Unreal when I made this. That's funny. Street Fighter 6 is above Smash Brothers. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That I would put it there. F-Zero GX and S-. And yeah, I put Sonic Adventure 2 and A- below Opposing Force. It's great. I like it. It just has critical flaws. The Knuckles and Rouge levels aren't as bad as I thought they were, but the one-timed Rouge level is terrible. The Tails levels are bad. Crazy Gadget's terrible. Half of Shadow's levels are bad. But when they're good... Ooh! Final Rush is a cool level. Eggman's levels are all good for some reason. the stupid shit, i.e. the way the dub worked, making it so that everybody talks over each other and the audio is mixed really bad with the music. Iconic. It's peak. It's terrible peak. And that's not even getting into the Chow Garden, which I didn't do. So I above Demon's Souls, though, kind of, absolutely. I would agree with that. And Luigi's Mansion being all that way up there, also under Unreal. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe in a later revisit of this, I'll have Unreal below both of those. But definitely higher than X-Men Legends 2. I agree with that. Yeah, this looks right to me. So, out of my 43 favorite games of all time that I have there, I've only played 3, which is hilarious, in the first 10%. No, I guess that is like 10%. 4.3. Only a little low. But in the number 26, 32, and 33 out of 43. So I haven't even played anything in the top half of my favorite games of all time. And of the series of favorite games, because there's 5 series that have 2 games, I've only played stuff from 14 of them. Obviously, Metroid is the 15th by the time this comes out. But, you know, as represented, for example, on the tier list. And when I say series, technically, like Slay the Spire and Bugsnax are the only games in their series so far. Slay the Spire 2 has been announced and is probably coming out this year, hopefully. Oh yeah, I just wanted to shout out the soundtrack specifically of these 6 games. Genuinely goated. That's all I forgot to talk about. That was Sonic Adventure 2. My god, the music is so good. Every character theme, every stage theme. Is glorious. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the music. Wow. I'm like forgetting where this is from. I included it. The pause played The Town Inside Me again. That'd be really funny. Oh, duh. I was like, I'm picturing a JRPG. It's Besaid. Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater's soundtrack, of course, is also just good. A bunch of good songs, generically. Death stats. Holy bunch of numbers. But yes. So far, there's also, I have a full spreadsheet keeping track of this. 255 deaths to enemies, which I considered damage caused by anything that is hostile and not a boss. 287 deaths to bosses, which I've considered, well, you know, usually if it has like a name and a health bar, I'll call it a boss, but there's other stuff, different games call bosses. Communities call bosses, and I've usually looked that up if I had any doubts. 130 deaths to obstacles like spikes, falling rocks, lava, and such. 225 deaths to falling. That includes fall damage, as well as falling into, like, pits. Probably 70% of those are from probably 80 or 90% of those are from Castlevania, honestly. 20 self-inflicted deaths, almost all of which are grenades in Half-Life and Unreal, and occasionally a car blowing up in Infamous. 64 mission failures, so that... I originally made that category of loss for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater when I would do a run through a level and not complete any goals. And only afterwards playing Infamous and like F-Zero GX, for example, later did I realize, oh yeah, there are game overs that are definitely like dying or a loss or whatever, but are just because you failed a mission. So I was glad I had done it already. And 38 fighting game losses, which are all in Soul Blade so far. Oh, 2 in Smash Brothers, actually. But yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but I've died 1,019 times up to the end of Unreal. Which is a preposterous number. The series with the most deaths is Castlevania, 386, but that's kind of unfair, because I've played 4 of them. Noticeably more than every other series. And it's just the one where I die a lot no matter what. The game with the most deaths is Half-Life, which was a lot of rapid fire running into groups of enemies with 7 health. So, you know, that kind of makes sense. However, I died the most times in one episode in Castlevania. Also a little unfair because it's longer, but that is straight up just due to a few bosses. The things I've died to the most: Death, Dracula, and the Creature, i.e. Frankenstein, and Marines in Half-Life. Death killed me 40 times in Castlevania 1 alone. 77 times across all 4 games. Dracula killed me 50 times. The Creature killed me 27 times in Castlevania 1. Dracula's 50 times across all 4 games. And the Marines in Half-Life killed me 52 times. Around here, I was going to include just the clip of me getting blown up by a mine in the second episode of Fallout 2, where it like just plays a loud explosion, cuts it off at the death screen, and just says, "You have perished," and then goes to the main menu. Really funny stuff. But I realized now I was recording it with my desktop volume at 25, and then putting it in this, so it was really, really quiet. But yeah. I liked finding bugs in Infamous 2. Those were funny. That's what that represents. And that's it. Yeah. I have not much more to say on those games. Probably call back the Demon's Souls a lot. I have a lot more opinions on FromSoft games for some reason. But I'll probably do this again once I'm done with game number 42. Yeah. There's a nice little end slate to skip to. And I'll end it on... For now, I will end it on Homestuck music. See ya.